So I know I'm not alone in realizing that, we were fed an illusion, about what we're here to do and be and what's possible for us versus what we actually have the potential to access as humans here in this realm, in this lifetime. So as many of us are realizing this, it's leading to a time of great questioning, which is good, questioning our society and ourselves and our place within it, because this is the first step in acknowledging that, well, if things aren't hunky-dory, if things aren't just so great right now, then maybe there's a fundamental underlying reason why that's the case. And it's really great that so many of us are stopping and trying to understand and pause. And while a lot of people are just forging ahead, even though they might sense something's off, they're having too much fun, or they feel helpless, it's confusing, or they hope if they just ignore it, things will go away. But we can't keep repeating the old patterns that once worked, because they're not going to work for much longer. As I said, we're sold an illusion. And that really needs to be unpacked, because that's the basis upon which so much of everything else is based. Our self-perception, our ideas of what's possible for us, our concepts that we buy into, the way we identify within this experience. And then our standards. If we're living inside an illusion and we aren't nearly living up to our potential, then our standards must be unbelievably low, and we may not even be aware of it. We should become aware. It's time to become aware. Yeah, I often come back to this idea. There's this idea I have of people being confused about how the experiences we have in our lives are, called progress, but I'm not convinced. I'm more of a mind to think that all of the variations that we have experienced in our lives are really just, as I say, variations at the same level of experience. So we're not advancing. We're not going up. We're not growing with an upward mobility. We're just experiencing variations on the same level. For example, imagine a toddler in a playroom. He goes and picks up a doll and he plays with it for a while, and that's, enjoyable, and he learns something. And then after a while he goes and picks up a truck and then he plays with that and he learns something from that experience. And then maybe he goes and gets a toy cash register and plays shopkeeper, right? He still hasn't left the playroom. And nobody in their right mind would say that infant is now all grown up. No, he's just playing different roles within the same level of experience. This is something that I feel is integral to our not understanding where we are at the moment. And as we watch so many things collapse and prove that they don't work around us and within us, and then we go, oh no, why is this happening? Well, because we're still inside the playroom. We only had the illusion of progression and expansion, and if everything is falling apart now, then is it any wonder? It's about becoming aware. Even just trying to become aware, being open to questioning these things. If we did that, if we thought to look outside the repeating loops that we've been living within for decades, just maybe think that it's not just another toy that we need. We don't now need a toy dump truck. I'm speaking in a lot of metaphors, but you get it, right? We don't need to look at things from the same false paradigm and then just create another version of it. It's just adding unhelpful complexity. It's not giving us anything more. It's just giving us another version of the same thing and making us think that something new and progressive has happened. If anything, doing that is creating regression, expending energy, proliferating a paradigm system, way of thinking that has long proven that it's outdated. Time for review. Let's get this, let's get this moving. Instead of looping in these circles around and around. And I'm not unaware that these patterns are exhibiting themselves in our society because we're exhibiting these patterns within ourselves. In my last video, I mentioned hermit mode. That's another reason why it's so valuable to get into hermit mode, to try and go in and address and consider and contemplate all of these things. Excuse me. Because it's exhibiting on the outside, but it's originating on the inside. And when it stops occurring on the inside because we're looking at it, because we're paying attention to it, because we've acknowledged it, then it could potentially alter in the exterior. But there's no need to really become fixated on the outcome. The value is to ask, to question within ourselves and between each other, trying to keep an open mind. trying to realize that we may not be where we thought we were. Maybe we were fooled, and being okay to understand that, okay, you got me a few decades of my life down the toilet, but better late than never. I mean, I'm kidding, but you get my point. It is hard. It is hard to acknowledge that maybe we were bamboozled. Maybe we did buy a lie. Maybe we didn't know any better. Maybe it was just a really, really good lie. A really seductive lie. It doesn't seem to be that way. But you know, now's the time. Now's the time to just take an L. Okay, maybe we had it wrong. Maybe something else is going on here. I think that's one of the most beneficial sort of questions, like ways to open up. Maybe something else is going on here. What could that be? Yeah? Because it doesn't matter how long the toddler has been in that playroom. It wasn't meant to stay there, and neither are we.